Hello, it's the 4th of April 2020 and I'm so happy because I got my delivery of green waste compost, and because the ground was so dry I was able to persuade the driver to back in towards the end of my plot and dump it just where I needed it. And I've been busy barrowing loads and loads of it, I think about 30 barrow loads, onto the potato bed, which had some compost on it but it wasn't really thick enough to grow potatoes in. What I would also like to do is get some straw, but I suspect there won't be any suppliers of straw available at the moment with the lockdown. I haven't even looked into that. I think straw would be nice to put around the brassicas when I plant them out, but I just have to cover them with hoops and nets and hope that will protect them enough. I was out there watering the peas as well. They're doing okay. At least they haven't been pecked to smithereens by the birds, though I have my doubts about the value of that fleece because it's quite thick. I don't know how much light it lets through and you can't really see what's going on behind it. So a while ago I planted out my little baby onions in little clumps on the bed on the other side, and I covered half of the plot with fleece and half with hoops and netting, and the fleece I laid flat on the ground, and when I went back to look the other day it was all getting a bit crushed under there. The little seedlings, that they just didn't have the room to grow upright, and when you compare them with the seedlings under the netting with hoops, they're doing much better. So I tried to raise up the fleece. It shouldn't really be laying flat on them anyway. It's a bit of a mess. I think probably in a few days, if it's continuing nice and warm, I'll just remove the fleece and let the onions have a bit of fresh air and sunshine and hope they'll take off a bit better then and not get pecked up. The broad beans on the plot are a bit skinny because although I planted a lot in the autumn, a lot of them actually blew over and died. So what's left is probably about a third of what I originally planted, and I did put some more in between. They haven't come up particularly much, and I do have some spare broad beans in a packet. It's one that you can grow in pots, in tubs. So I've got quite a lot of them in little pots, and then I've planted some in some big tubs, and these are what I'm going to put at the front of the house. So I hope they'll look pretty when they start to grow. Because they're such big tubs, I didn't fill them up completely with bought compost. I started off with compost from the compost heap, which is not quite finished, I would say. It's still got twigs and things in it. And I thought if I put that at the bottom of the pots, it'll probably rot down while the beans are growing above it, and I just covered it with a layer about that big of bought compost, general purpose potting compost, and planted the beans in that. And then I covered the whole lot with some shriveled bits of pondweed because I thought that'll protect them if there's a bit of a frost occasionally, because it's still a little bit early, I feel. Also, I was quite happy today to see that my little carrot seeds have sprouted, some of them. The ones in the toilet rolls. I don't think I'll do toilet rolls again. It's so fiddly getting the toilet rolls full of soil, and then you've got to get the seeds to sprout in them. I'm a bit more encouraged now. I find that some of them have actually sprouted, but still the ones in the root trainers have come up more prolifically. Oh, and the parsnip seeds, which I had in the plastic box with damp kitchen roll in the airing cupboard, I have been watching those because I planted them in root trainers and they've taken a long while, but they have started to come up, so maybe they will be okay. Maybe they will produce parsnips. And then there's peas. There's a lot of climbing peas here and some tomatoes. Obviously they have to get a bit bigger before they go anywhere. Out in the backyard, the brassicas are coming along quite well, and I think they're just about ready, some of them, to plant out. The leeks, I planted out some of the leeks into bigger pots. I started my leeks really early this year, so I'm full of hope that they will produce a really nice, big, mature crop. And I've got so many left over, I'll have to think of something to do with them, give them to somebody. Spread the joy. So that's it for today. Take care, stay indoors, avoid that nasty bug, and I'll see you next time. Bye.